obsessed with my coaching and matchmaking programs. And a lot of my clients are between the age of 40 and 60, and they want to know, are there any special tips to dating women in their 40s? Well, that is what we're going to dive in today, so stay tuned. The first thing you want to think about when you're dating a woman in her 40s is you want to think about being direct. A woman in her 40s knows who she is and what she wants. She's seen her fair share of disappointments and she doesn't like beating around the bush. So by now, hopefully you've gotten direct in your communication, but if not, I'm here to help you. So a woman in her 40s wants to know what you want. What is your intention? Don't just ask her out to hang out or to grab a drink. You want to use the word date so that you can signal intent. This is what I want. I want to take you on a date on this day, at this time, in this location. You also want to be direct in your intentions about sex. So rather than beating around the bush, it's best, let's say you're a divorced guy and you're recently coming out of this relationship. You know that you don't want to get into a long-term relationship right away. You need time to heal, but at the same time, you're really interested in this girl you're dating and you want to keep seeing where things go, but you want to make sure that she doesn't get too attached to you. What do? Well, this is a perfect scenario to directly communicate your wants and needs. What I would say is something like, hey, I'm having so much fun getting to know you and I would love to explore physical intimacy, but I'm coming out of this divorce. I know that I need time to really learn who I am. I'm not ready to get into a long-term relationship, but I would love to be physically intimate with you and I want to manage expectations to see if you're on the same page. Being direct like that is so sexy. It's so humble because you're really putting all of your eggs on the table. You don't know what she's going to say, but a woman in her 40s is going to respect the fact that you can communicate directly. And I would also recommend giving her some time to think it through. She might not like it in the beginning, or she might have thought that, hey, this is going to be a long-term relationship. But the sooner you communicate that and then give her some space to think about it, I've seen so many clients have success using this very direct communication style. Sometimes she needs a little time to think about it and then she comes back with all of the information at hand and she gets to make her own decision on whether she moves forward. And I've seen a lot of people have success with that strategy. So it's really about being direct. You're dating a woman who has been there, done that. You're not in your 20s anymore. Don't beat around the bush. And don't beat around the bush if you do want to make her your girlfriend. Don't just assume that you are. I hear this all the time from my clients in their 40s and their 50s. My generation doesn't do it like that. Look, any generation can benefit from direct communication, and just because your generation maybe wasn't taught to communicate as directly doesn't mean you can't adopt new things in this day and age. And it's really important, if you want to be in a relationship with someone, that you state what you want. I want to be exclusive with you. I want you to be my girlfriend. I want to be monogamous with you. How are you feeling? Have that direct conversation, especially with a woman in her 40s who is mature enough to handle the honest truth and probably respects you for having that conversation with her. Usually people don't communicate directly because they're afraid of rejection, but when you do communicate your wants and needs right off the bat, you basically set a foundation of trust where both of you can talk honestly with each other. If it turns into a long-term relationship, now you've established that you communicate openly about difficult conversation topics. That is going to serve you for the rest of your life. So the moral of the story is be direct. And if you want help on being direct and you maybe need somebody in your corner, an advocate, you can learn more about how my coaching program may be a fit for you. I work with clients who are in their 40s to 60s. I've actually worked with clients of all ages, but a lot of times this comes up and so we can coach you through that. You can learn more on my website at mloves.com. Another really important tip for dating women in your 40s is you can't stop taking care of yourself. One of the most common things that women in their 40s say is that they can't find anybody that they're attracted to. And I've heard that also from my male clients. None of the women in my age bracket are really attractive. That's why it's so important for you to take care of yourself. So if you have let your exercise routine slack, I would recommend hiring a trainer or signing up for a marathon or a triathlon or something that will keep you motivated and force you to be accountable. Also, make sure your diet is on track. It's so easy to let our diet go as we get older. I know as I'm getting older, I'm like, who really cares if I'm this size? But it is really important, especially if you're single and dating. You're gonna have your run-of-the-mill. You'll have all of the babes to choose from if you take care of yourself. So make sure that your diet and exercise are both on track. If you're experiencing any premature hair loss or just regular hair loss, there are solutions for that too. There are a whole bunch of things that guys can do nowadays. You're not doomed to be, to not have the hair that you want that makes you feel confident and sexy. Definitely check out the hair restoration solutions. If your skin doesn't look as young and youthful as you'd like it to, there are totally solutions for this. Head on over to a dermatologist or an anti-aging specialist. They can fix you right up. If you need help with your teeth, whatever it is, you really want to prioritize your health. If you haven't gotten a new wardrobe in the last 5 or 10 years because you just don't see the point, and you're single, I'm going to tell you the point is you want to be sexually attractive to the opposite sex. So if you're dating women in your 40s, and really any woman, you want to make sure that you look good, you're dressed for success. In my coaching program, I actually have a celebrity stylist on the team, and you can work with her directly. She can get you fitted and committed so you feel super sexy and confident no matter what you put on. But the way you look is going to be really important if you're dating women at all, and especially if you're dating women in their 40s. Another super critical thing to keep in mind if you're dating women in your 40s is to mega date. What is mega dating? Mega dating is a process of dating multiple women at the same time to diffuse your energy and increase your confidence. It also helps you to not play games, which is one of the most common things that women in their 40s do not want in a man. They don't want a man who plays games. But sometimes we feel like we have to play games because we don't want to seem overly available. That's where mega dating comes in. When you're dating 1 to 2 people a week in a low stakes environment, just getting like a coffee or something very low key, you allow your social calendar to get filled up automatically. So you're less available, you're less needy, you don't have to play games, you just aren't as available, and that's going to make her perceive you as more rare and more valuable because your time is hard to get. So, in my coaching program, I actually teach you how to fill up your dating funnel using dating apps and in-person social strategies so that you can go on 1 to 2 dates a week. And the cool thing about this process is it helps you to avoid settling for someone who isn't right for you. So if you find yourself jumping into relationships too soon and then not being able to get out of them, maybe this is the story from your last relationship. You really knew early on that this wasn't the right fit for you, but you didn't want to hurt her feelings, so you just stayed and you weren't in the right relationship, then I would highly encourage you to use mega dating to ensure that you protect yourself against jumping into relationships too soon. I speak from experience. That was my story, you guys. So if this is resonating with you, then we are on the same page. I can absolutely help you. You can learn more about how my coaching program may be a fit for you by heading over to mloves.com. You can also book a new client session with myself or a member of my team there, and we can discuss your dating goals, the obstacles holding you back, and how our coaching program may be a fit for you. If you're dating a woman in her 40s, be aware of baggage. Now, by now, we've all collected a little baggage, okay? It's weird if you don't have any baggage. That could be a red flag in and of itself. But you want to kind of pay attention to what the baggage is and whether it matches up with your baggage. So if this is a woman who's been single largely all of her life, there is a reason why. It doesn't mean it's a deal breaker, but you want to kind of dig into that a little bit. If she's been single all her life because her standards are ridiculously high and she's created this fictitious unicorn dream man in her head, then chances are nothing is going to change, and it's good not to get your hopes up. But if she has baggage from a past relationship, that might be something different. You want to see how her baggage influences her, how it might relate to your baggage, because we all have baggage, especially the older that we get. But you want to make sure if it's a past relationship baggage that she is out of that relationship in her mind, in her heart, in her soul. She's processed it. She's not pissed about it still. She's not blaming her ex for anything. You really want to make sure that that baggage has sort of processed. It won't ever go away, and neither will yours, but you want to make sure the baggage matches up and it's not totally a different story than what you're dealing with. That's also another reason why mega dating is so important, because you can compare and contrast the different women that you date and see how the baggage relates. Okay, this woman, she is just like, has unrealistic expectations. This woman went through a divorce kind of like myself, and I totally understand, and I feel like I can relate to her baggage, and so I feel like we're one and the same. That is why mega dating can help you so much. It really helps you to get crystal clear on who is going to be the best fit for you based on your unique preferences and your unique subconscious experience. Another really important thing to consider if you're dating a woman in her 40s is to take responsibility for whatever caused your past relationships to fail. It is not sexy or cute for you to blame your ex for being crazy or to talk smack about an ex, even if she was crazy. When you do this, it just shows the woman that you're dating that you can't take responsibility for your own life. And if you were in a relationship with someone who was crazy, you selected that crazy person. So you do need to take responsibility for that. We also want to see that the person is self-aware. So a woman in her 40s is going to be paying attention to how self-aware you are. If you're not taking any responsibility for your past failures, you're probably not very self-aware. So be very careful before you label, oh, my ex was a narcissist, my ex was a sociopath, my ex was da-da-da, because it's only a reflection of your direct choices. So really make sure that if you're communicating about past relationships, which will inevitably come up, hopefully not on the first or second date, and in my coaching program, I teach you how to sidestep those conversations so you can save them for later. But you really want to make sure that when you do have those conversations that you're communicating honestly and that you're taking responsibility for your side of the street. You got to clean up your side of the street or it's not going to be a good look. If you're dating a woman at all, but especially if you're dating a woman in her 40s, don't act desperate. This is a very common thing that women in their 40s deal with, men who are very desperate or clingy. What this says is that you may have an insecure attachment style, an anxious attachment style, and what I really encourage you to do is to pick up the book Attached, the Science of Adult Attachment. It is an amazing book. It's going to talk to you all about attachment styles. You can learn about yours as well as others. If you are clingy or you ever feel kind of desperate or someone said that you're getting too attached too soon, or maybe you feel like you fall in love really fast and you scare people away, look, I can attest to that. I have been where you are standing if this is resonating with you. And what's really important is that you learn about attachment style. You can take a free attachment quiz online and learn what style you have. And the great news is that attachment style is stable, but it can be changed. So once you find out what your attachment style is, I'll tell you what, if it's anxious or even if it's avoidant, the cure for an insecure attachment style is mega dating. So I've talked a lot about mega dating in this video, but it is the solution to an insecure attachment like anxious or avoidant attachment where the anxious is where you get clingy and desperate. But dating multiple people at the same time will diffuse that nervous energy that you probably picked up from childhood based on your experience with a primary caregiver. It will naturally diffuse that energy, increase your confidence, and help you to not jump into the wrong relationship too quickly. And if you want to know how you can fill up your dating funnel by mega dating so you're able to go on 1 to 2 dates a week, this is exactly what I teach in my coaching program. You can learn more about that at mloves.com. And if you think coaching might be a fit for you, book a new client session with myself.